The room fell silent as my daughter-in-law Karen raised her wine glass at Christmas dinner, her lips curled into a smug smile. "To family," she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm, minus the dead weight. All eyes turned to me. My fork froze midair, mashed potatoes untouched. Dead weight? Me? After everything I'd done for them? I forced a smile, my heart pounding, because what Karen didn't know was that I'd been preparing for this moment for months. I had a surprise that would turn her world upside down. Hi, I'm Susan, and this is the story of how one Christmas dinner changed everything, and how I made sure justice was served. Let's go back to where it all began. I'm 62 now, but 6 years ago, I was a widow living in a small town outside Seattle. My husband, Robert, passed away from cancer, leaving me our modest 2-story house and enough savings to get by. Our only child, Michael, was 30 then, a kind-hearted man working as a high school math teacher. He was my rock after Robert died, calling every day, visiting on weekends. When he met Karen at a school fundraiser, I was thrilled. She was 28, a bubbly marketing assistant with big dreams and a bigger laugh. They fell hard and fast, engaged within a year. I welcomed Karen like a daughter, hosting brunches, helping plan their wedding. "Susan, you're the best," she'd say, hugging me tight. I believed her. Oh, how wrong I was. After their wedding, Michael and Karen moved into a condo nearby, but money was tight. Teachers don't earn much, and Karen's job had her chasing commissions. I offered to help small things, like groceries or a car repair. Then, 3 years ago, they hit a rough patch. Karen lost her job during a company downsizing, and Michael's school cut hours. They were drowning in debt. I couldn't stand watching my son struggle, so I made a big decision. I sold my house, Robert's, and my home for 30 years and gave them most of the proceeds, about $200,000, to buy a bigger place. "Mom, we'll pay you back," Michael promised, eyes teary. Karen nodded, saying, "Susan, you're a lifesaver." We agreed I'd move in with them to their new 4-bedroom home, a charming fixer-upper with a wraparound porch. I'd have my own space, help with bills, and be part of their growing family. Their daughter Lily was born soon after, and I thought we were set for a happy life. Those first years were golden. I'd wake up early, make pancakes for Lily, and drive her to preschool when Karen was busy with freelance gigs. Michael and I would watch old movies on weekends, laughing over popcorn. Karen seemed grateful, always thanking me for babysitting or cooking. But slowly, things shifted. It started with small jabs. "Susan, you don't need to rearrange the pantry," Karen would snap, rolling her eyes. Or, "Lily doesn't need you hovering all the time." I brushed it off. New moms get stressed, right? But then came the bigger blows. Karen got a high-paying marketing job and started acting like she owned the world. She'd come home in designer clothes, tossing her keys on the counter, barely acknowledging me. "This house is too small for all of us," she'd complain, even though it was plenty big. Michael would hush her, but I saw the tension in his jaw. The real conflict hit last spring. Lily was 4, and I'd been helping more since Karen's new job kept her late. One night, I overheard them arguing in the kitchen. "She's always here, Michael," Karen hissed. "We don't need your mom mooching off us anymore." Mooching? I paid half the down payment on this house. I'd been covering utilities, buying groceries, even paying for Lily's dance classes. My heart sank, but I stayed quiet, hoping it was a phase. Then came the inheritance. My sister Ellen passed away unexpectedly, leaving me $150,000. I told Michael I'd put it in a trust for Lily's future college, maybe a car. Karen's eyes lit up when she heard. "Susan, you should invest that in my new project," she said, all smiles. "I'm flipping condos now." "It's a sure thing." I politely declined. I wanted Lily to have security, not Karen's risky schemes. That's when her mask flipped. Karen's disrespect turned vicious. She'd leave dishes for me to clean, saying, "You're home all day, Susan, might as well do something useful." She'd mock my cooking in front of Lily. "Grandma's meatloaf again? Boring." Michael tried to mediate, but Karen shut him down. "She's your mom, you deal with her," she'd snap. I started noticing other things. Karen was spending wildly, buying luxury handbags, planning lavish vacations. Michael confided they were in debt again, despite her big salary. I offered to help with bills, but Karen refused. "We don't need your pity money," she said coldly. Then, one evening, I found a real estate listing on the kitchen counter for our house. My stomach dropped. They were planning to sell, and no one told me. Here's where the tension started rising. I confronted Michael that night. "Are you selling the house?" I asked, voice shaking. He looked guilty, rubbing his neck. "Karen thinks it's a good time to cash out, Mom. We'd get you an apartment nearby." "An apartment?" After I gave up my home for them? I felt betrayed, but worse was coming. Karen started pushing me out. She changed the Wi-Fi password, locked me out of the garage, even told Lily, "Grandma's just visiting now." Lily cried, confused, clinging to me. "You're not leaving, right, Grandma?" I hugged her tight, whispering, "I'm not going anywhere, sweetie." But Karen had other plans. She started meeting with realtors behind my back, and I found emails on Michael's laptop ones he didn't know I saw, where Karen was forging his signature on listing agreements. She was trying to cut me out entirely. I wasn't going down without a fight. I called my old friend Linda, a retired lawyer. "Susan, check the deed," she advised. I did, and thank God I'd been careful. When we bought the house, I'd insisted on being a co-owner with Michael, with a clause that any sale needed my approval. Karen didn't know or didn't care. I also found something else. The trust I'd set up for Lily had a secondary beneficiary, me, if anything happened to the funds. And I'd recorded a conversation with Michael years ago, where he promised I'd always have a home with them. I kept that recording on a USB drive, tucked in my jewelry box. But the real twist? I'd hired a private investigator, nothing fancy, just a guy Linda recommended, to dig into Karen's condo flipping. He found she was funneling money into a shady offshore account, hiding it from Michael. She wasn't just greedy, she was stealing from her own family. The weeks before Christmas were unbearable. Karen ramped up her campaign. She'd forget to invite me to Lily's recitals, leave my mail unopened in the trash, even tell neighbors I was moving out soon. Michael was distant, stressed from work and Karen's pressure. One night, I overheard her on the phone. "Once the house sells, we're done with her." Done with me? I was done playing nice. I started planning my surprise. I met with Linda in secret, gathering evidence, bank statements, the forged signatures, my investigator's report. I also transferred the trust funds into a new, secure account Karen couldn't touch, and I waited for the perfect moment to strike. Christmas dinner was that moment. We'd invited Karen's parents, a few cousins, and some neighbors. About 15 people crowded around our dining table. I'd spent days cooking, turkey, stuffing, pecan pie, the works. Karen barely helped, too busy texting her realtor. As we sat down, she made her toast, calling me dead weight in front of everyone. Gasps filled the room. Michael's face turned red, but he said nothing. Karen smirked, sipping her wine. I stood up, hands steady, and said, "Karen, you're right. Let's talk about weight, starting with the truth." The room froze. Cliffhanger moment. What was I about to reveal? I pulled out a folder from under my chair. Yes, I'd planned this like a scene from a movie. "This house," I began, voice clear, "is half mine. I paid for it, and I have the deed to prove it." I slid the document across the table. Karen's smirk faded. "And this," I continued, holding up the USB drive, "is a recording of Michael promising I'd always have a home here. I played it on my phone, his voice echoing, 'Mom, you'll never be homeless.' I swear." Karen's parents shifted uncomfortably. Her cousin whispered, "What's going on?" But I wasn't done. "And these," I said, tossing copies of the forged listing agreements, "show Karen trying to sell my home behind my back." The room erupted in murmurs. Michael stared at the papers, horrified. "Karen, is this true?" he asked, voice breaking. She stammered, "It's not what it looks like." But I had one last card. "And this," I said, holding up the investigator's report, "shows you've been hiding money in an offshore account. money that should have gone to Lily's future. Karen's wine glass slipped, shattering on the floor. Her mother gasped, "Karen, how could you?" Michael stood, face pale. "You lied to me," he said, voice low. "You lied to all of us." The climax hit like a tidal wave. Karen screamed, "This is my house." "You're nothing, Susan." But the guests were on my side now. Her own father said, "Enough, Karen. You've gone too far." The fallout was swift. Michael demanded Karen explain everything. She tried to spin it, claiming it was for the family, but the evidence was undeniable. That night, he asked her to leave until they could sort things out. She packed a bag, cursing me as she stormed out. I didn't gloat. I felt hollow, knowing my son was hurting. Over the next month, Michael and I worked with Linda to secure the house and Lily's trust. Karen faced legal scrutiny for the forgery and fraud. Her realtor friend turned on her, spilling everything to avoid charges. Michael filed for divorce, prioritizing Lily and rebuilding our bond. He apologized daily, tears in his eyes. "Mom, I should have listened to you." I hugged him. "We're family, Michael. We fix things." By spring, life felt lighter. Karen moved to an apartment, fighting for custody but losing ground due to her lies. Lily stayed with us, her laughter filling the house again. I planted a new garden, teaching her how to grow sunflowers. Michael got a promotion, and we refinanced the house to remove Karen's name entirely. I found peace, knowing I protected my family's future. The moral? Don't let betrayal dim your light. Stand up, speak your truth, and trust that justice finds a way. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button if this story moved you, and subscribe for more real-life dramas. Share in the comments. Have you ever faced a family betrayal? Until next time, hold your loved ones close, but keep your eyes open.